Welcome everyone to your sixth and final cooking class. My name is Brandon and I'll be your instructor today. Today we'll be cooking spaghetti and meatballs and tomato sauce. And in today's lesson we're going to be applying everything you've learned over the last 5 weeks, including meal planning, recipes as a framework, and using substitutions within a recipe. In today's meal we're combining 2 separate recipes in your Cooking Matters book, the spaghetti and meatballs recipe and the tomato sauce recipe. Okay, the utensils we'll be using today: 1 stirring spoon, 1 large pot, 1 can opener, 1 medium bowl, 1 colander, 1 sharp knife, a vegetable peeler, measuring spoons and measuring cups, 1 skillet, and a cutting board. And then your recipe also calls for a box grater, so if you have a box grater, get that out. I do not have one, so I'm going to be dicing my carrots today instead of peeling them. The ingredients we'll be using today are canola oil, 2 cans of crushed tomatoes, 1 pound of ground beef, 1 package of spaghetti noodles, flour, 1 medium-sized onion, a bowl of garlic, 1 egg, 1 carrot. Our seasonings are basil, salt, onion powder, oregano, garlic powder, and black pepper. Okay, to get us started today, we're going to go ahead and start cooking our spaghetti noodles. All I've done here is followed the cooking directions on the back of our spaghetti packet. It calls for 5 quarts of water to cook 1 whole packet. This is going to be more spaghetti noodles than we need. The recipe only calls for 8 ounces, and this is a 16-ounce bag, so you can cut everything in half if you'd like. I'm going to go ahead and cook all the noodles that I have. All I've done is I'm starting to heat up my water now, and I've added salt. And once my water starts to boil, I will add the noodles. So our water is boiling now for our pasta, and all I'm going to do is add the noodles. Instead of just putting it in, I wanted to show you how I break it up. So usually what I do with my pasta noodles is I break it into thirds, just because I like my noodles not to be as long. You could break it in half, or you could even keep it full length if you like it that way. It'd just be harder to fit into the pot. We are now going to start preparing our tomato sauce, and we're going to begin doing that by rinsing off our vegetables. So go ahead and peel your onion, rinse it off, rinse off your carrot, then we'll go ahead and mince up our garlic, dice our onion, and dice up our carrot. What we're going to do is start cooking our veggies for our tomato sauce. The reason I started with the tomato sauce before beginning our meatballs is because the tomato sauce can simmer on low, and really it's going to integrate flavor, and the longer that tomato sauce can simmer on low, the better it's really going to taste. So once we finish this tomato sauce, adding the tomatoes, add the seasoning, cook our vegetables, then we'll start working on our meatballs and just let this simmer on low and let those flavors really blend, and that's just going to create a better tasting product in the end. So here we go. Our pasta noodles have just finished up. All we're going to do is drain them into our colander here, rinse them with cold water, and then set them aside until our tomato sauce and meatballs are ready. Our vegetables are cooked here. Our onions are looking very translucent, starting to brown just a hair. Next, all we're going to do is add our crushed tomatoes. And then I combined the seasonings into this cup just so you all didn't have to watch me measure them out. I have 1 teaspoon of basil, half a teaspoon of oregano, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper in here. And we'll add all this stuff, turn down the heat so that the sauce can simmer for a while, and we'll get started on our meatballs. So my tomato sauce is looking pretty thick. I want it to be a little bit thinner for when we add the meatballs, so I'm just going to go ahead and add a half a cup of water. We're back over at the stove and we're going to form up our meatballs and drop them into our sauce here. We want our meatballs, so I'm using this 1/8 cup measuring spoon to measure on my meatballs. Another good size would be to just use your tablespoon. We want our meatballs kind of small so that we can make sure that they cook thoroughly in this sauce. So don't make them too big. So all you're going to do is measure out your amount, form up your meatball into a ball like that. And then we're just going to drop it into our saucepan here. Before I plate this meal, I want to double check my meatballs here. So all I'm going to do is cut this meatball in half, and we're going to see if it's red inside. As you can see there, we still have a little pink on the center. These meatballs have been on for about 20 minutes now. I've been stirring them every 5 minutes. I'm going to let them cook for another 10 minutes because they aren't quite done yet. So 10 more minutes, we'll check them again. If they're done, then we'll plate this meal and I will go over your guys' engagement activity for the week. And that's a wrap for our final lesson of the community nutrition program. I just want to say congratulations to everybody who was able to complete this course, and thank you for sticking it out and following along through our cooking lessons every week and our nutrition lessons every week. I hope you all have enjoyed what was presented here and have been able to take some kind of lesson away from this. I hope you've all learned how to cook a little bit better at home and figured out ways that you can prepare healthy meals, not just for yourself, but also for your family. Being your final week, we are going to be sending out an email this week with your final Cooking Matters survey so we can see what you've taken away from this program. I'm also going to be sending out a feedback survey so you can let us know what we can do to improve this program in the future for future participants. Please fill out both the Cooking Matters survey and the feedback survey so that we have that information and can continue to improve this into the future. So for your final engagement activity, I would like each of you to write a letter to yourselves. This letter can say whatever you want to tell your future self about healthy eating, why you want to live a healthier lifestyle. You could just list the reasons so that they serve as a future reminder. What inspired you to start this program in the first place? Really anything that you would want to say to your future self about why you decided to begin this journey in the first place. Once you have written that letter, please email it to me at brandonquery123@gmail.com. In 6 months, we will mail that letter to you so that you can receive it in the mail and remind yourself why you began this journey in the first place, and hopefully it will act as a motivator to keep you moving forward, continue learning, and continuing to build on this healthier lifestyle. Again, I just want to thank you all for joining us on this journey, this Cooking Matters program. This was my first time doing this, and I hope you all enjoyed these cooking videos. I hope you enjoyed the mindfulness videos by Kara. We plan on continuing to do that into the future, and I hope you enjoyed the nutrition videos. Again, if you have any feedback for us, please fill out the feedback form. If you don't take the time to do that, at least email me just some of your thoughts, and then that way we can continue to improve this program in the future for future participants. Thank you, and I hope you all have a wonderful week.